Hello, Senior Stoner fans. It's the real Senior Stoner back at you for your Yocan Black Celestial Diamond Dab of the Day. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. As always, when you enjoy today's video, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, send a like, and I reply to all the comments. Let's get started on today's topic. How many of us out there have multiple things to do every day and basically spend a lot of time trying to figure out what to do because we have poor decision-making skills? Should I do that? Wait, maybe I should do that. What about that? I got to do that too. What about if I finish that? What if I don't do that? We need to find ways to improve our decision-making skills. Let's discuss. Because think about it. You get to the end of your block. Where should we go for dinner? You get to the movie theater. What movie should we see? You get to the mall. Should I buy that shirt or save my money? Constantly, we're presented with decisions. We're plagued with indecisiveness and regret because opportunity happens from the wrong decisions. So we need to find tips to improve our decision-making skills and reduce our indecision in our everyday lives. Well, when you're the only one making a decision, you can do a couple of different things. You can do a cost-benefit analysis to weigh the pros and cons. That simply means that you're going to see the opportunity costs or you're going to see the opportunity negative factors. You're going to narrow your options because to simplify the cost-benefit, you got to limit the options to kind of like two things to compare. You get a much greater difficulty when you have more choices. It leads to more regret because you're going to consider the constant possibilities. Oh my God, I could have had that one. And worry whether or not, maybe what if I chose the other route? It would have been better. So narrowing our options is for greater peace of mind. And we have to evaluate the significance because think about it. How much time should you spend over the decision of what should I put in the dab rig? 30 points of a second, 3 seconds. You see, you have to think about what the impact will be on your life. How much will it cost me? And you got to set the deadline accordingly. And you got to remember, I think, we talk about this a lot in our life discussions here. Don't sweat the small stuff. If it's something simple, like deciding where to go to eat or what to watch on TV, keep it in perspective. Keep your time frame on those decisions almost to a split second. You got to think about evaluating the significance almost of every decision. Because if it won't affect you or others you care about in a significant way, maybe don't waste time endlessly debating it in your mind. Do your research. Now, we know this is a factor, but do your research on whatever decision you're going to make. Because it can mean the difference between being satisfied and having relentless frustration. And get a well-informed opinion. It's more than just doing your researching facts for a decision. A personal opinion can improve your decision-making by giving you the confidence and reassurance that you've been looking for to make the right decision. So ultimately, whether you're asking a mechanic about a car or you're checking consumer reports before a purchase, informed opinions are helpful. When there's group decision making, you got to think about conflict management because people can be all over the place when they're making decisions and multiple people are involved. You got to think about a win-win situation. It might be lower for both of you in terms of achieving the maximum you wanted, but you can make the deal. You also want to plan ahead when you have a group decision to make because you got to think about the details well in advance, because think about the conflict that can happen if you're going to unpack every last detail in that room of decision makers. So what you want to do is you want to come with the information at your fingertips so you understand the likelihood of a positive decision or a negative decision. It decreases bickering and gets everybody involved in the decision. And ultimately, you have to just say to yourself in a group, somebody's got to take charge. Somebody's got to assert themselves. And the impediment, the thing that stops great decision making, is beating ourselves up for past mistakes. So we've got to live with post-decision angst. You got to not dwell on the errors and the failures of the past, because once it's happened, it's happened. And to make great decisions, you really can't be overconfident. It can make your judgment really skewed in a poor direction. Great decision makers recognize areas in their lives where overconfidence could be a problem, and they adjust accordingly. We want to and have to identify the risks. It's just that important. We've got to identify the habits that become commonplace. Those require very little thought. They're automatic, let's say. And we've got to take some time then to evaluate what might be harmful or unhealthy and take a plan and develop a healthier daily habit. We've got to frame our problems in a different way. Think about it. The way you handle a question, the way you pose a question to others can really impact the response. So when we're faced with a decision, maybe frame it in a different way. Stop thinking about the problem. When you're faced with a tough choice, no matter what it is, people spend a lot of time thinking about the pros and the cons of the risks and of the rewards. Well, we know about that. Weighing the pros and cons is important. But if you do it for too long, it can really increase your stress level instead of help you. And it can freeze you up to the point you just can't make a decision. So there's a lot of value in a word called incubation. That's right. That brain of ours can incubate the problem before we even start to think about it. It's already in our minds. So we need to set time aside to reflect on the mistake. Think about what I'm saying here. Don't dwell on them for too long. Rehashing them is not good. But reflection time. Limit it, but it's critical to have, because then you take the information of what you learned about the past mistake so you do better the next day or the next time. You're acknowledging your shortcut, you're acknowledging what you can and can't do, and you're considering the opposite. The reason I think I was an incredible sales executive and salesperson is because I negotiated with myself ahead of time. I knew every single thing that other person was going to say before they said it, because I had done it with myself in my own head, and I was really good at it. So you've always got to consider the opposite. We all develop beliefs. But you know what? If you think or assume your beliefs, our beliefs, are 100% accurate, you're thinking incorrectly. We've got to challenge our beliefs constantly to argue the opposite. Because considering the opposite in life will help us break down unhelpful beliefs so we can look at every situation in the right light and decide to act appropriately. Yes, maybe we need to even define our emotions. That's right. Our feelings play a huge role in the choices we make. So, less anxiety, better decision making. More nervousness, you're less likely to make an effective decision. However, if you're excited, you really can be successful, because that's a positive payoff. Excitement's a positive result of something. So maybe let's make it a daily habit to try to understand what's happening better. Talk to ourselves like we're a trusted friend. Ask ourselves, what would I say to a friend with the exact same problem? You see, it's going to help us to be kinder to ourselves, even during negative times, because we're going to say something to ourselves, something like this: you've got this, you know you can do it, and you're really great at it. Because that's exactly what we would say to a friend when a friend would be having a difficult time making a decision. See, there are so many options in our world today. I think that's why we have difficult times. Everyone does, making decisions. This is the Real Senior Stoner, hitting on my celestial. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Let's take a diamond dab of the day. Cheers, everyone. Boy, does that hit good. Wow. Well, I made the decision to get this. Vapes out the bottom and the top. Look at that vapor coming out the bottom. My decision was to get the Yocan Black Celestial for $160, and I'm very pleased with it. Let's take one more hit. Thanks for joining me, everybody. You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, send a like, and I promise to reply to all comments. Have a wonderful day. This has been the Real Senior Stoner and the Yocan Black Celestial Diamond Dab of the Day. Cheers, everyone. Let's make better decisions out there.